Okay, we're live.
All right, right on. Awesome. Thank you so much, Metal Summoners. Sorry for the slight delay. We were just getting things kind of tweaked and getting everything sounding good, looking good for you guys. So we appreciate it. As always, you guys rocking and rolling with us on the Island of Misfit Toys here on the Metal Summit. As you guys know, because we are super duper stoked about it, we are 8 days. We are a week and an evening away from Masquerade in Philadelphia. That is the next time that you guys will see all of us collectively as the Core 4 rocking it out at the 2300 Arena for BLE's event with our beloved Brad Lee, who we love to death. And we are continuing our series of interviews leading up to that. It's been absolutely, totally bitching, and we're really, really excited. And before we came on live, myself and the guests were rehashing a little bit because it has been a little bit of time since, like we referred to it as, Sleazy Slimy 2, because all of you fans know that I have history with Brad Lee, working with him for quite a few years now. So we are very, very excited. So I am very excited, and we are going to bring him in live from Toronto. Coming from another country, we have got Darrell Dwarf. We have got Darrell Millar joining us tonight. How are you, brother?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Yes. We
Yeah.
are super stoked to have you, man. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time.
No problem. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Anything for Brad Lee, man. He's a
100%.
good cat.
He
Guys
sure
like
is.
like that run rock and roll. You know, without guys like Brad Lee, there's no rock and roll. He's
No,
a big
definitely.
supporter of it, and you know, the musicians appreciate the efforts from men like him.
Absolutely,
So,
100%.
a salute to Brad. Can't wait to see him
For those about to rock.
and have a little drink with him.
Absolutely, 100%. So we touched a little bit about it just now, obviously, in the intro, Darrell, but you and I talked a little bit about it moments ago off the air. Just because of the blackout, it's really crazy when you kind of look back on how much time has really gone by. Because for, us in the BLE world, yeah, we did Slimy 1 and we did Slimy 2, which had you guys, and then we had Slimy 3. Now we're doing Masquerade, which feels like it should be like the equivalent of like Slimy 6, but it's because we're missing like a couple of days. So it's been a while since you've been able to come on down through the States at all.
Yeah.
Versus when it was like Slimy 2. So let's just cover a little bit of that. Like, what don't we know about how the blackout was in like Toronto and stuff like that?
Well, number one, it was way too long. We couldn't tour at all for like 2 years. Our last show was in 2019.
Wow.
Sounds like a long time ago, right? Like 2019 in December, we played Quebec City. We were coming off that year's worth of dates, and we usually shut down for Christmas and part of January, February anyway. But then this COVID thing hit and just took us straight out of the game for like 2 years. So we've only got to play 4 shows since then, and 2 of them were Monsters of Rock on the cruise in February. So that's the last dates we did. And our management has been working feverishly booking our 40th anniversary Still Standing Tall tour, which I'm happy to announce. So everything's back now, and we're back, and I have great news. We've recorded some new tracks. It's the first time in about 18 years since we've recorded new music, and I'm actually very proud of the songs. They sound great. I couldn't be happier that we actually have got together and pulled it off and recorded some tracks. So that's coming out this year. That's exciting. And probably 40, 50 tour dates to follow, mostly in America. Canada as well, all the cities pretty much in Canada. But most of the dates are in America, starting in Pittsburgh next week. Next Thursday. So that's awesome. Oh, I just want to give a shout out before we take off and get talking. My daughter Tara turned 40 years old today.
Wow.
Dude, I'm not that old. I'm telling you, but she turned 40. She's in Palm Springs, California right now, enjoying her birthday. So happy birthday, Tara. I know you're watching the show, I think. So a shout out to my lovely daughter, Tara. It's pretty awesome. Happy birthday. Happy 40th. So back to rock and roll. I can't wait to do these first dates and get our feet wet again in the touring area and get our ass back out there on the road. That's the plan.
100%. So let's talk a little bit just about like the 40th anniversary and a little bit of Killer Dwarfs history, because for bands that are still plugging away, it's really not. That's a very exclusive club to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Not quite ZZ Top yet, but
not
close,
quite,
right?
but it's definitely right about there.
Metallica, right? Metallica's like around that. Motley, they're all in that area. 40 years, right? Those bands, and we started out at the same time, the start of the 80s, and we had our very first show on New Year's Eve in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada, on like 82, 81, 82, right? On that night going into 82, basically. So it's 40 years. And wow, Russ and I are like, really? We're like pretty freaked out, but pretty happy at the same time. And I just love the band, and the lineup is, about as solid and as you can get. And Jerry, the guitar player, has been in the band for a long time, since the 90s, early 90s. He recorded Method of the Madness and all that. So really it's Russ and I, the founding members. Jerry has been there for 30 years. And the bass player is the new guy. We call the new guy John Fenton. He's been in the band 10 years. So we're quite the team, and we know our limits, we know our age, we know what we're doing, and we're prepared to kind of rock into late stages of our 60s, I guess you could say, as long as we can do it. That's kind of our plan. If we can stay healthy, and that's really it. We have no intentions of kind of stopping, if you know what I mean. Like we're kind of on a roll, and we feel pretty good at our age, and the band's playing well, and until that changes, there's no reason for us to not tour and record. So that's where we're at.
Absolutely, 100%. And before I kick it down to Bobby, I just wanted to follow up that question a little bit. With just talk a little bit about how you and Russ got together, because you were coming out off of playing in Sphinx.
Yes.
From when you met Russ. So just how did that relationship form?
Well, my high school band was called Sphinx, and I was in that band for about 5 years, and I really cut my teeth on that. I actually traveled a lot all over the country with that band. It was a 3-piece band, kind of like a Triumph, sort of. I was like a lead singer, drummer. I sang like about 18 songs. We did 4 sets a night, and it was a 3-piece. And like I said, I kind of cut my teeth with that band, but when I got into my 20s, it turned 20 years old, I was getting kind of burned out on it. And I just happened to meet Russ, like a perfect storm, kind of met him at the right time in Quebec City. And we were playing this big club there, and his band was coming in, and he was in an Alice Cooper tribute band called Oz. His band was called Oz, and he was the Coop. He did a great job on it too. I loved it, because I'm a big Cooper fan. As you can see, he's hanging on my wall. It's Alice Cooper on my wall up there. And Russ and I just met over and had, kind of hung out at a bar over a bottle of Jack Daniels and formed the Killer Dwarfs. That's sort of what happened. And, we had no cell phones or anything back then, so it was all just a phone number on paper and just trusting we would connect, after we went on to finish our tour dates with the other bands. And we ended up calling each other, and basically, I brought my guitar player, Bryce, to the band, and Russ picked Ange, his bass player, from his band. So we formed the Dwarfs out of those 2 bands. That's it in a nutshell. That's how it happened.
Very cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Bobby, take it away, brother.
So, Darrell, good friend of ours, Ed Niger and Natalie from out in Vancouver. Love you guys, and that's kind of how we got connected.
Oh, yeah?
That whole thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, in a rock and roll fantasy camp, I met those guys, and we did a bunch of stuff. But, you guys have a lot of history in Canada. Triumph, Rush, you guys, Bryan Adams,
Yeah, there's actually a really long list of great Canadian bands that people don't realize.
Justin Bieber.
Well, okay, yeah, that's not rock and metal. Yeah, the Biebs is great, man. He's having a rough go right now. He's got some face facial problem or something like a Bell's palsy sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's fighting right now. But anyway, yeah, there's April Wine, and the list goes on and on. There's Anvil and all these bands come up here.
I wanted to throw this out. So you've been around, and you brought up April Wine.
Yeah.
I'm on the 17th. I'll be with Uncle Ted, the Nuge.
Oh, I love Nuge. Big fan.
You know, so am I. You know, politics, keep that shit away. But I love Ted.
Yeah.
You know, it was, but he embraced so many of the Canadian bands and took them out all the time. Rush, he was the guy who brought Rush out too.
Yeah. Those guys toured with Ted a lot, and Kiss too, back in the day, back in the 70s. They toured all the time together with Rush.
And it's so I want to ask you this: you're in Canada. How do you separate your personal feelings going out and going, okay, I just got to be me and rock?
Well, I kind of don't understand that question. What do you mean, being Canadian? That doesn't really change
a lot of the Canadian bands that I've always seen never went out and pushed.
Well, we're a little different. I'll tell you why. We were lucky enough to be signed to Epic Records, if you remember.
Yeah.
We've had a few different record deals to get to that level, to get that big record deal with Epic in New York. And once that happened, we kind of became an American band in our eyes. And we recorded albums in LA with Andy Johns, and all this great stuff happened. And America is like our favorite country to tour in the world still. It still is. So to us, nothing against our own country. We live here. It's great. But like, America is where we go to tour pretty much, if you know what I mean. So I don't feel, I don't know. I just feel normal when I come to the States to tour. I feel like, I'm home. I'm back home to tour. That's how I feel. But what exactly were you trying to say? I kind of didn't get
it. What I'm trying to say is, with the Canadian bands that always came down, they never pushed the political end of Canada.
You mean the labels?
No, just how open Canada is, and very, they never came down and said, well, why don't you guys do this? Look, we have our Springsteens and our Jovies, and everybody wants to wear their shit on their sleeve. But the Canadian bands that came out never sat there and said, this is what we do in Canada. And you guys just came out and kicked ass.
Well, that's true. That is true. But I will tell you, there's this underlining thing amongst the artists in this country that we always have to, how should I say this? Like, work harder to come to America, to break into the American market. It's always been like a big deal to even get signed in America for a Canadian band. And it's always been way tougher for a Canadian band to even go to America to tour. And it's still almost like that for a young band now. There's something about it, a political battle for a Canadian band to go down there and be successful. Like, even my own cousin, who was from Steppenwolf, the drummer who's passed away now. Yeah, my cousins are from that band. Mars Bonfire wrote the hit Born to Be Wild. He's still alive. He's my cousin. But my other cousin, Jerry, his brother, he died in 93. But anyway, Jerry and I were very close, and Steppenwolf was my very first band that I ever saw in 72. And that's, my aunt and uncle took me to the show, which was his parents. And so Steppenwolf was a big deal to me in my life as a drummer too. And Jerry always told me they moved to America to make it. They're from Canada, and no one even knew that. And Steppenwolf moved to San Francisco. They moved to LA, and they moved to San Francisco, and they were based out of America, out of San Francisco, and just became a American band, really, even though they were from Canada. They were from Oshawa, where I'm from originally. So even Steppenwolf back in the 60s had to go to America to make it. That's how it was. There's an element that still exists of that. I got to tell you that.
Before I throw it back to Jay, I got to ask you. So Steppenwolf, okay, were they the godfathers of heavy metal?
Heavy metal thunder. He coined that word. That's why it was a big deal, right? Heavy metal thunder. He did. He coined that word. So then heavy metal became an iconic word, and my cousin invented that word and wrote that. That is true. That's a true thing.
Wow.
It is pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy legacy to be a part of that family. I still feel kind of cool to be in that club, you know, and
Yes.
it definitely it's definitely made me feel energized to have a musical family around me. It's helped me through the rough times of my career. My dad was a jazz piano player as well, and I grew up around it, and it helps a lot to have that kind of power on your side, kind of thing.
But I had to ask you, you know, when you brought that in, I was going to bring you up about the Steppenwolf thing. And when you
Yeah.
threw that, I'm going, that's just so badass right there.
Well, I kind of segued into it because I'll never forget Jerry telling me how they had to leave Canada to make it. And they never would have made it in the 60s in Canada. If they hadn't have gone to America and got signed to Dunhill Records, you might never have heard of Steppenwolf. That's just how it is. That's how it was and how it is, kind of, even to today, you know, in a sense. Things are better now.
Oh, definitely. Well, Darrell, to kind of piggyback off of what Bobby just brought up, because that's really kind of like interesting. Did you and him ever have a conversation like after, even not even so much a conversation, but did you guys just ever just casually discuss like, you know, that is the coined phrase and really started something like how Ronnie had always been associated with the devil horns from throwing it up from, you know, from Italian lore as the evil eye and stuff. But did you ever have a conversation with him about about how he felt about like, man, I kind of coined something cool where I was just simply writing lyrics. Is there anything you can tell us about how he felt about that?
You know what? You just basically answered it. It's funny what you just said, but I had dinner with Mars Bonfire. His real name's Dennis McCrowan. That's his real name. But Mars Bonfire is what his handle has been his whole career, all through the 60s up till he's in his 70s now. He lives in Reno, Nevada. Anyway, we had dinner about 10 years ago. He was up here for some music festival, seminar, talking about songwriting, actually. The Universal Music flew him up here to do a music seminar on songwriting. And so we went to dinner and we got talking about how he wrote the song and when he wrote it and how it went down. And exactly what you just said, he didn't even realize what he was writing. He didn't know. Like when he wrote Heavy Metal Thunder, he just thought it sounded cool. Like he didn't realize it was anything to do with the music even. He meant like heavy metal thunder storm, nothing to do with music at all.
Right.
And motorcycles, thunder, that kind of thing. So he basically lucked into the phrase that turned into heavy metal. Yeah. He said, oh no, that wasn't intentional at all. So he told me.
That's really cool though, because that phrase has taken on a series of different lives and stuff. Like, for example, the guys, we all just covered the M3 Festival a couple months ago, and we had the opportunity to interview Lizzie Borden, who I'm very, very passionately fond of. And the one thing that was very interesting is Lizzie was featured in The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years. But the song that they focused on being performed by Lizzie Borden was Born to Be Wild.
Right.
And I remember just being like, even that back then, I'm like, dude, these guys have such a bitching catalog and you're focusing on these guys doing a cover. But it really was interesting though, because it just segued into what we just discussed as
that song has been covered. That song Born to Be Wild has been covered by so many bands. Like so many, from Slade to so many bands. I think Quiet Riot even did it. So many bands have covered that tune over the years, and it's still on Toyota commercials somewhere in the world right now, in Germany or somewhere. Like, I don't want to get into the financial end of it, but Mars has made so much money on that song that's why Universal flew him up to talk about that. Like, he still makes so many royalties from that song. He's basically the sole songwriter of that tune.
Gotcha.
And it's just like, boom. Like, how many? How do you write a tune that big? No one knows, right? No one knows that you're going to write this iconic tune that goes on for decades and decades and is still being played. So, hats off to him, man. Like, he hasn't wrote much after that, but He's not even in the business anymore. He's pretty much retired, but pretty cool. Pretty cool legacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right on. So before we bring in Angel, let's bring it back to Killer Dwarfs. So 40-year anniversary, you guys are hitting the States after the blackout. What is it about your upcoming tour and getting back out that you guys are the most excited for? Fans, breaking off the rush, just getting back out on the road. Let's talk about what we have to look forward to with this upcoming tour.
Well, probably some new music is probably the most exciting thing. I mean, I don't know. You see bands that are classic rock or been around as long as we have. You got to be careful with what you add to your show, kind of like those classic hit songs of ours, like Dirty Weapons and Keep the Spirit Alive, Stand Tall. There's a whole string of kind of our hits, right? That were radio hits or video hits or whatever. And, the fans want to hear that stuff. And they expect to hear it, and we know that. So we will continue to give them those songs, but we will be adding the new tracks that we wrote. And there's a couple other little surprises that we've come up with in the set that we've never done that I don't want to talk about because it'll wreck the surprise. But there's a couple of cool little new things we're adding to the show for the 40th. And our plan is just to play anywhere and everywhere and try to make up for that lost 2 years of hell. We're hoping to tour solid for 2 years right now, straight, starting next week. So that's the plan. And go to Europe too for the first time in 2023.
Oh, right on. That is super duper cool.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's in the works already.
Oh, fantastic. And something that we've actually discussed many times with guests coming because obviously the blackout was such a hot topic for our show and a lot of the bands that would talk about it is how did you guys do just as a band on that downtime? Did you find that your communication was strengthened? Did you feel that you had to work harder to communicate because rehearsals and stuff like that were a lot trickier?
Yeah, there was it wasn't good. The only communication we had, because we kind of live spread out a little bit. Like I live downtown Toronto and Jerry lives about 4 miles east of me in Toronto, and the bass player the same in the West End, and Russ lives 2 hours north up in another city. So we didn't even see each other at all during the lockdown, we call it, or whatever, right? It was all just we did FaceTime. We just tried to stay positive. Started writing, some of this material that's happening now was started back then, and it was just a weird experience because nobody's ever really experienced it before. So we didn't really know what to do with it. We couldn't really go out, and Toronto had one of the longest lockdowns out of all the cities, right? We locked down quite a few times. It would start up again, everything looked like it was going to be good, and then lock down again. It's just like, come on. So that kept happening, right? So my biggest worry for me, guitar players can pick up a guitar and play all day. Drummers can't. All right. And I told you I live downtown in the condo scenario, right? So I can't play drums in my place here. So I didn't hit a drum for about 8 months, and that's way too long for me. And I've never really gone that long without playing, and I was starting to feel like I'm in a forced retirement vibe. And I'm like going, if I don't do something about this, because I couldn't go to any studios, they were all closed. I don't know what's going to happen, right? So I got really inventive, and we have like a lanai here at our place, right? And we built a full-on enclosure. It's like a balcony that's open, and we built a full-on enclosure, had it custom made, like full like windows, the whole deal, right? Sealed in the lanai, made it into a room. During COVID, we did this, and I put a drum kit out there, and I built the kit into a quiet kit, basically. So the bass drum's a flower pot with a pad thing. That's the kick drum. It's hilarious. I just did what I could, right?
Yeah.
It's a DW, or it's a D drum. I'm endorsed by D drum. It's a D drum kit, acoustic kit. And I put Evans sound off heads on them, and Sabian makes a quiet tone cymbal. They're just tin type cymbals with holes drilled in them. They sound great, but they don't resonate and cut through walls, and they're not loud. And same with the heads. They're like a mesh head. They have a tone, but they're quiet. So there was my kit. So I started playing like an hour a day. And there's all these condo builds happening around me, big ones in front of my place, and they're making a hell of a racket every day anyway. Those guys are hammering all day louder than my drum kit, believe me. So I play at 2:00. I pick the time when they're the loudest, and that saved my life. I got to play every day. I was playing every day, and I started a little YouTube show called COVID Condo Kit.
Nice.
on my channel, you can see it. It's called the COVID Condo Kit series, and there's about 18 episodes of me playing songs and during the lockdown complaining about it. You go to my channel, Darrell Dwarf or whatever, Darrell Millar, I guess it is, youtube.com/Darrell Millar, is it? Or no, it's Uncle Dunk. Sorry, it's Uncle Dunk 1 is my channel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Definitely
youtube.com Uncle Dunk 1 with a K. That's my channel, and that's where the COVID Condo Kit series is. And I had a lot of fun with it. The fans loved it, and they were happy for me that I got to play. And like I said, it saved my ass. And when we went down on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I was actually in pretty good shape. I was in pretty good drumming shape, and I hadn't played in a while.
That's awesome.
We had some good shows on that boat. It was fun. So
yeah,
that's it. It brings you up to now, right? And we've already been in the studio playing together, and we're rehearsing on Saturday night to get ready for this Bradley and the other shows. And it's pretty cool.
Absolutely, for sure.
We're back. I mean, it's almost like that shit didn't happen, but it did. It did, but it's like, I don't know. It's like it cut a piece out of our lives.
Right, yeah. It was like what we were talking about off the air, where you'll just talk to friends about like, oh yeah, I just saw you guys last year, and then it's like, oh god, no, it wasn't. It was 4.
Yeah,
just crazy.
Exactly.
Like
it's just a mind bender. It's like,
wow.
It
really is.
Yeah.
100%. Angel, let's kick it up to you, my good guy, and some of the Metal Summoners, and any questions that they may have, man.
Oh, they got a lot of questions. I'm just getting over my Metallica Enter Sandman moment where I've had this nightmare that I can't go freaking live, and then it happened tonight.
That's all right.
Very lovely.
It's not rock and roll.
My apologies to you, Darrell.
Oh, it's okay, man. This stuff happens all the time. I had this thing go down to me on this Izzy Presley's podcast. I don't know if you know Izzy. He's a good guy, Monsters of Rock guy. I was on his podcast, and I didn't have my Sennheiser headset yet, and I had this little headset that crapped out on me for the whole interview. It was so embarrassing. And they were like all good with it. They're going, "Hey, try plugging it in direct." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, it sucked. So I mean, shit happens. We're all trying to make do. And that was during COVID. I was on Izzy's show during the lockdown. So I was just like, I kind of wasn't prepared. So I've fixed all that now. So, it's okay, brother. It's okay, Angel. Shit happens. You're good now, though, right? You're all good now?
Bobby decided to go unplugged.
He'll be back.
Bobby? That's okay. I'm going to leave, too. I'll be back. I just step out and get some air.
Right.
No, it's all good. So,
questions. Jeannie wants to know, how many hours do you practice for a show?
I don't really practice for a show.
Practice.
Like we don't.
Iverson.
We rehearse, like the band. Actually, we only rehearse if we need to work something new. Like we know our show so well, we can go 5 months and not rehearse and go on stage and play. We might be a little rusty, but we can still pull it off, and no one would know but us. But when we need to work something out, we don't risk it and we go rehearse. So that's what Saturday's all about. We have a few things we need to work out that are new. So that's the band. But me, myself, I just make sure I'm up to speed with how I feel physically. So to answer your question, I'm always drumming, maybe 20 minutes here, like any amount of time that I get out on that COVID condo kit is just even 10 minutes sometimes a day is enough just to feel the drums and play and maybe work on a couple of extra little chop things that are new. So me, myself, I just try to play every day, even if it's 10 minutes. But if I'm having a good day, I'll play a half hour, 45 minutes, or I'll jam to other bands' tunes or whatever, just have fun, right? But as the whole band, we don't spend a lot of time rehearsing, to tell you the truth.
How did you come up with the name of the band?
Yeah.
I didn't come up with the name. A manager of ours did. It's all that's in my book. I have a book out, right?
Yeah, we were going to get to that.
You can get to that, right? All that stuff, all that is in the first volume of that book, the Thunderfoot book. I have 2 books, but the Thunderfoot book is the career book. And basically, this guy, Bob Conley, was our manager way back in the early 80s, in the very beginning, the first year we were a band. And we couldn't be called Sphinx. And we couldn't be called Oz because we were not either of those bands. We were 2 different bands completely. So we kind of used the name Sphinx for a while just so we could go play a few clubs as the new band. And Bob Conley, our manager at the time, he actually came up with the name, and it was out of the book The Hobbit. Killer Dwarfs is in the book, The Hobbit. And we didn't know that, but he was a bit of a geek, kind of a Star Wars dude. Smart guy, though. He was a very smart guy. And he lives in LA now, and he's a program director of something. I don't know, a computer programmer. But anyway, he told us about the name, and we immediately weren't sure about it. It didn't hit us as, yeah, that's a great name. It just sounded funny to us, and we didn't know if we wanted to be funny. I don't know. It just sounded odd, Killer Dwarfs. Because look at your singer, the band's all short, and they were the original lineup. They were only 5'2", all 3 guys, and I'm a tall 6-foot drummer, but I sit down, so you only see me from here up, right? So he said, let me make this big swanky poster. I'll book you 5 clubs in Toronto. You go out as the Killer Dwarfs. If you get hostile people coming at you that they think that's a weird, fucked up name, then we go on and use some other name. But he goes, if you get great vibes off it and people like it, you're the Killer Dwarfs. And that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And we went out and people loved it. It suited the band. If you seen the show back in those days, it was it was manic. Russ is the craziest front man ever.
Yeah.
So, back then especially, so I don't know, it was meant to be. But a guy named Bob Conley named the band.
What do you like the most about being a musician?
What do I like the most about it? I just find that it's freedom. Being a musician is a creative outlet, and it's just the greatest thing to ever be able to pull off for a living. It's one of the hardest things you can ever attempt to do and be successful and actually make money and live. It's one of the hardest career choices. In fact, I won't even let my daughter make that career choice, and she plays drums and I don't know. But to succeed at it at any level is amazing for anybody. You got to have your hats off to anybody that can stick it out their whole lives and play in a band, because it's up and down. It's never steady. And I don't know. I was born into rock and roll, obviously, and I just pinch myself every day that I get to wake up and be in the Killer Dwarfs and work and make money and survive. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool way to live your life. Cheers to that.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%.
Whoop, whoop.
Absolutely.
What has been the craziest thing that has happened on tour?
Oh, Lord.
We want to hear midget stories.
It's in my book.
Hey,
Buy my book and read about it. Thunderfoot. It's called Thunderfoot, Chronicles of a Rock and Roll Pirate. You can get it on my web.
Yes.
You can get it on my website, which is dunkspirateshop.com,
Oh,
autographed, or you can get it at Amazon.
wait, I'm going there now. So what is that again? Let's go there.
Dunk's Pirate Shop, DUNKS, dunkspirateshop.com. Susan Burton, I'm in Ajax. What part of Oshawa did you grow up in and what high school did you attend? I went to O'Neill. I went to O'Neill Collegiate on Simcoe Street, and I grew up on Kaiser Crescent. That was just south. We lived in a few different houses, but Kaiser Crescent was my main place I lived through high school and public school. So I just answered her question. I saw it come up across the feed.
That's awesome.
Did you see that? Susan Burton. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just answered her. I answered her question. Yeah, dunkspirateshop.com is my site where I sell some stuff on there and the books. Did you get there, Bobby?
It's going, but you know the Canadian thing. It always takes a while to get there.
What? I should
That's
pop
all
right
right.
up. Did you
We
spell
got
it
him.
right? Did you spell it right?
Dunkspirateshop.com.
Yeah, Dunk, DUNKS, right?
Yeah.
Dunkspirateshop.com. Should come right up.
Man, we got another question from Canada.
Yeah. Hi, Darrell. Greetings from Toronto.
Wait,
What are
if I
some
go
of
to
your
Darrell
favorite-
Millar, it'll take me right there, though.
Darrell Millar's the time capsule's my other site. Let me answer Candy's question here. What are some of your favorite venues to play in Toronto? And I have many. Massey Hall's my favorite. Tell you the truth, I played there opening for Motley Crue years ago. But club wise, there's a club called the Rock Pile here. It's a nice kind of intimate, not intimate, 700 seater. We played there quite a bit, but there's some great venues here, like concert clubs. Like there's the Phoenix Concert Theater. There's the Opera House, the Danforth Music Hall. Then there's some old nostalgic bars, the Horseshoe Tavern, the places like that. Toronto's actually quite rich in music venues, on the contrary to what people think. A lot of them went under over the years, like the Gasworks and Rock and Roll Heaven from our day in the 80s. But then new ones have popped up. And, obviously we like playing the sheds and the bigger venues, but we play a mixture, which I really value. I love that we can go out and play festivals, but then maybe the next few days we'll go play like a club. We'll go play a 300, 400 seat club like we're going to do on this little swing in Atlantic City and stuff, right? But then we'll do M3, or then we'll go, I love the variety. Then like the Monsters of Rock cruises every year. It's the most fun thing ever, playing Monsters of Rock cruise. It's so cool. Good for the fans too. Like they get to hang out with the bands and stuff. It's so fun. It really is.
For sure. I've heard the name. I've heard the venue, the Rock Pile, quite a few times.
Yeah, it's one of the main metal. It's one of the only metal clubs, kind of big left. Everybody plays there. Pat Travers. Everybody plays there. Like it's a cool club for sure. We played there many, many times over the last 10 years. Every year we play it once at least. So I'd have to say that's been one of our favorites. But larger venues would be, like I said, Massey Hall's a beautiful theater. I'm hoping we get to play there again in the next few years. And Toronto's, I'm not sure where we're going to play this year, though. We might play somewhere different for the 40th
Darrell,
anniversary.
are you doing Monsters on the Mountain?
No, because the only reason we're not is we wanted to do it. We had a prior engagement booked, another festival called Rock on the River. It's in Saskatoon, Canada, and it's a really cool festival. It's at this big hotel. Goes for 3 days, and it's a bunch of Canadian artists: Kim Mitchell, Saga,
I love Kim.
Lee Aaron.
I fucking love
all these
Kim.
a lot of Canadian, really great Canadian artists are playing this festival. Band called Toronto. It's going to be fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. But it's too bad. It was right on top of Monsters on the Mountain, the same weekend, the same date. So we're end up doing Winnipeg now and Saskatoon, the two shows.
It's a shame. Yeah,
I know. Well, we'll have to do it on the 2023. It'll have to be.
What about Rock Island?
What is that?
It's down in Key West. I just got asked to go down and be involved with that.
Really?
Yeah,
Not
it's
sure.
2023,
Yeah.
and then there's another one coming up too.
Well, I'll tell you, my manager Robbie, he's the one that's doing all this, and he knows about every one of these shows.
Yeah.
So he's on all these things already. He knows about every one of these festivals, every one of these shows. So I'm pretty confident in him that I don't need to really go look or deal with any of that because he's on it, and he's doing
Good.
a great job right now working with promoters in America right now. And we're doing the whiskey again. I'm so happy about that.
Oh, when's
Yeah,
that?
in October 13th. Yeah,
Nice.
it just happened this week, and it's something about playing the whiskey. It's just a club.
I love the fucking
I don't
whiskey.
know, man. And my cousins played there from Steppenwolf. I mean, all these iconic bands played there. So when I get there and get on that stage, I always get a little spooked out a bit. Freaks me out. I kind of sit on the drum kit for a minute and just try to get in the vibe of the Doors, and I don't know. It's so rock and roll. It's insane.
And then you go upstairs and it's like, oh my God, that's an STD waiting to happen.
Well, it's actually cleaned up quite nice up there now. So
Wow,
it's all painted and they cleaned it up. There's some of the old
penicillin and
pictures.
everything else on that wall.
Yeah, some of the old pictures and all that stuff's still there. They left all that there. But I was talking to one of the guys that worked there when we were there we played there 4 years ago, I think it was, and he told me it's haunted up there, upstairs. Yeah, he told me absolutely it's haunted. This guy who worked there, he said, I've had the hair on my neck stand up so many times by myself late at night upstairs at that.
That's because of the hooker behind him.
I don't know, man, but I believe it because it's just too insane. It's just too nostalgic. It's such a nostalgic.
Well, it's kind of like, you got that and then you go right down the rainbow and it's like,
yeah.
Oh my God, you walk in there and
yeah,
the vibe.
Yeah, I know. It's not like the strip is not as insane as it was obviously in the 80s, but at least it's still kind of there intact, like Gazzari's.
I love the Viper.
Is gone.
I'm a big fan of the Viper Room.
Oh yeah, the Viper Room. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we almost ended up playing there, and I'm glad that not that we didn't want to or whatever, but the whiskey happened, and that was our main gig that we wanted. But the Viper Room was in the mix to play, but you kind of just have to do the whiskey only if you're going to do that, right? Competition thing, I guess. I don't know. But
hopefully this year, Winter NAMM will be back in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Because last year this summer it sucked.
I know, man. Everything's like climbing back slowly. But I mean, at least festivals and tours are back. I mean, Motley Crue's coming to town with the stadium tour with Poison.
Yeah, I've been out on the road with them for 2 weeks. I'm going up to Ohio next week, and then Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm
well, they're here on the 8th of August, and lucky for me, we come back off that run here, and we're off, so I'm going to go to it.
It's a fucking blast. Where are they doing it at?
They're doing it at the Sky Dome. At the Blue Jays Dome.
The Blue Jays Stadium?
The Blue Jays Stadium. It's called Rogers Center. It's called Rogers Center now, but we all call it the Sky Dome here. That's what it was when it was built. It was called the Sky Dome. But that's where the Blue Jays.
What are they using it for now?
Pardon?
What are they using the Sky Dome for now?
Well, it's
Blue Jays don't play there.
Yeah, they do.
They play at the outdoor arena.
It just got renamed.
No, that's the Blue Jays venue. It's called the Rogers Center. It's called the Rogers Center.
The one next to the hotel, connected.
Yeah, that's it. That's the Blue Jays.
They were playing at a new place.
No, they moved down to Florida for a while during the pandemic, but no, the Rogers Center's
okay, that's what it was.
That's how he's.
Hey, sorry, go ahead, Darrell.
Look, Mark Weir just bought Darrell's book on his site. Boom! He found it. Mark found it. He went to Dunk's Pirate Shop and bought my book. Thanks, buddy. You will get an autographed copy. He gets an autographed copy. Everybody gets an autographed copy off that site.
Nice, very cool. But yeah, no, they moved I remember they had the Blue Jays playing in like Buffalo and down in Florida.
Exactly. Maybe that's
travel,
what he's mixed up about.
Yeah.
He could be mixed up about that. No, that the Rogers Center's been the Blue Jays' home from the start. They won the pennants there and all that. That's where they won.
for sure.
But anyway, they run shows there. They run concerts there.
Nice.
The Weekend was just there. GNR played there.
The Weekend just had a problem.
It got canceled. It got canceled because I don't want to get into it, but Rogers is one of our phone companies out here. They had a blackout all over Canada. All their gear didn't work. All the internet went down.
Somebody got killed in Philly.
What?
Yeah,
you mean the Weekend? Oh, because they got canceled here because of the blackout, and then now they had trouble in Philly. Well, they're cursed. The Weekend's cursed.
The weekends, no partying on the weekends. But Darrell, let's stay with sports a little bit, dude, because I love following you on social media during hockey season, man. Yeah. I'm a really big hockey guy, and I love watching you doing your things about the Maple Leafs and watching you talking about hockey and cussing out the Bruins. I think it's hilarious.
Well, what happened there is my own page, okay, which is Darrell Millar, right? I have a Darrell Dwarf page and Darrell Millar on Facebook, and I run both of them. No one runs them but me. It's me. And I was posting so many Leafs things and Tampa Bay Buccaneers things, right, for a while there, that I was realizing I have 5,000 friends on there. I'm like capped, and they're fans. The majority are fans. Some are family, but I was realizing like not everybody's into sports. Right. And they're seeing all this stuff. So I started a sports page called Go Dunk Sports. I started a sports page, and it's a group. I started a group, and it's actually a private group now. I made it private, but that's where I do all of the sports stuff now, not on my own page. So you're not seeing it as much probably.
Yeah.
You got to join Go Dunk Sports now. That's where all the banter is and all the shit talking and all that. It's all on there. I got a good group of people, like 200 people on there. It's pretty fun.
No, that's awesome because I love watching it, man. Because like I said, I'm a huge hockey guy. I'm a big sports guy. I'm all about the passion. I get a good chuckle out of it because I actually am from Massachusetts, so the Bruins are my team.
Oh, the Bruins!
Exactly.
I love the Bruins. Actually, I don't say that because they're the Leafs' nightmare. Like it's
right.
And I'm a Leaf fan, and it's just the Bruins. I don't know what it is about the Leafs and the Bruins. I was so happy they didn't play the Bruins, and meanwhile they end up playing the Cup champs, and they gave them a great run. I don't have any bad thing to say about the Leafs this year. I thought they were a great team. They played great. Yeah, they went out in the first round again. Yeah, big deal. But they were a great team. They played amazing against the Cup champs. They went 7 games.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man?
And Boston, we're having that same headache with Toronto ourselves right now.
Yeah.
It's just, geez, we can't get away from Toronto. And right now we can't seem to kind of get over that hump.
Yeah. Well, I know, but you know how sports is, and it's not just hockey. There's just that evolution of trying to get the right combination on a lock of players. Football's the same. Like you need the right receivers and the right quarterback and just the perfect fit to be that Super Bowl team. And that's not easy to construct and make happen. And hockey's worse. Yeah. I mean, from the goalie to the defense to the offense, one little hole in the dam and you're fucked.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
You're
not going to win. You're not going to win,
absolutely.
Man.
And are you a baseball guy too? Like, are you a Blue Jays guy?
No, not as much. Don't dislike any sport.
No, but, totally.
But I maybe go to one game a year, Blue Jays, and I'm just not connected to baseball. No, I'm not.
Gotcha.
Or basketball either. And they're both really big in Toronto.
Oh, sure.
The Raptors,
the
Raptors are big.
The title recently.
Yeah, basketball and baseball's big in Toronto now. Really big. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I kind of stick to football and hockey, bro. That's my passion right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Very cool.
For sure. Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. Let's roll with you, my guy.
So I'm on your Donkey site. So you're out of drum heads and everything right now, and I'm like,
No, there's just one thing that's sold out. That drum head.
Is it?
Yeah, it says the drum head is sold out. But everything else, nothing else is sold out, though. All the drums.
What am I looking at?
Your site wants nothing to do with Bobby.
Wait, what is this with skull beads?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, look.
So
The
what
skull
are they?
bead thing. This is my official skull bead on my Jack Sparrow beard, right? Well, I don't know. There's an 8x10 on there with a skull bead, right? There's a couple of things. There's drumsticks. There's mostly the books. The 2 books are at the top.
I figure I could make it a Prince Albert.
Yeah, are you on there? And yeah, it's just a shop. It's a little shop I run. It's just for fun, really, but it's somewhere where the fans can go where they know it's me personally. So
That's what I'm doing
I'll sign
right now.
the stuff.
I got
sign the stuff.
my Dunk Pirate shirt I just ordered.
You did?
Yeah, dude, I'm on here. Look, I'm like gay shopping right now. It's like, this is
do that off the air, Bobby.
What? I love shopping.
He's shopping while we're online doing an interview off my site. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The money goes right to your pocket. I'm sitting here having a cocktail.
It absolutely does.
Well, this is kind of like the Home Shopping Network where you're selling merch while you're doing the interview. You sold the book.
I know.
Yes.
And that's cool that Buddy bought a book. Yeah, I'm very proud of the books. I worked really hard on them, on the both books that are on there. Guardian of a Timekeeper.
Butt plug.
The what?
Oh boy.
What's he talking about? Butt plug?
Nothing whatsoever.
We don't have any of those, no.
Damn it.
Sorry. We don't sell sexual toys.
We represent the
We're not a sexual toy company.
Yeah, seriously. For sure.
You gotta wait till
I do like the dog tag.
Yeah. Have a look. Go through it. Yeah, I got some special. They're collector's items. Most of the stuff. It's all just like collector stuff, right? I only come up with a few things. Add one new thing or two every year, and I put a contest on once a year, give away free stuff, and I just have fun with it, man. It's not like something that's paying my rent and all that. It's just it's really just a fan base site for some memorabilia for the fans that I actually sign. I don't really push the site a whole lot. Only when the books come out, I do push the site because that's really the only place they can get it from me signed. Otherwise, you got to go to Amazon, and they have their own printing house, and they do all that.
Really?
Yeah. Amazon's cool. They do their own printing house and everything. My books I have printed by a company, and I physically sign them and have them shipped out.
Well, very cool. So you see a bunch of shit from me coming.
All right.
Thanks,
look,
I love the shop. If you wouldn't announced it, I'm like, oh, okay, let me go over there.
He loves the shop, guys. Look, he's on there flying shit. All right, go dunk.
Yeah, totally, for sure.
It's like Chunky Duncan.
So Darrell, since we're on the topic, let's talk about the books, man, because books, memoirs, writing about your history, where you've been and where you're going has definitely become a big thing over recent years. What was it about you putting out what's now 2 books between Underfoot and Timekeeper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story because I always wanted to be an author, but I figured I might be older when I did it. You know what I mean? When I actually wanted to sit down and write a book, I figured I might be older than I am and maybe closer to the end of my career to actually write a book. But that's not how it unfolded. How it unfolded was my dad passed away, at 93. And it was okay. He was old. He was 93. He was in a home.
Yeah, but still, dude.
It's hard to lose your dad, but it was time for him to move on, and we were close, and he was in a home, like I said, and all that. And it was about 4 years ago now. So that is how the Guardian of a Timekeeper book became a book. And all it was I was in this grieving process, had some time on my hands. I started writing down, as you said, memoirs, and I was trying to remember the good times that I had with my dad. And I started thinking about my own, life and how long, my own mortality, basically, because I'm getting older myself. And I was thinking, what if I get Alzheimer's or one of these diseases where or dementia where I can't remember shit and I can't remember anything. So that's why I started writing stuff down. Basically, I started writing down the stories. If something does happen to me, at least I'll have a record of my upbringing and things that happen. And what it evolved into was that book, Guardian of Timekeeper, evolved into like a Final Destination movie. It turned into 10. It turned into 10 episodes of my near-death experiences. That's what the book is. It's like insane. And my own mother was here. My own mother was here staying with us for a while, and my wife. And I started reading the stories to them, and they were like riveted by it, going, "This is insane." Because my dad saved my life twice. He once.
Darrell, did you ever think about putting this out as an Audible book or a short documentary?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. And it's funny, the editor that I work with, Sharon Lax, she works on my books with me. She suggested it could have been a movie right off the bat. And I said, look, can we not go there? Can we just at least do the book first? Like, she got all excited about it. She goes, this could be a movie if you gave it to a movie producer. And I said, well, I'm not. I just want to write a book. It's about my dad and about our family and about me and about my band and about car accidents I've been in and all this stuff. And everybody could relate to it.
But you know, the coolest thing right now, I'm listening to Rob Halford's book that he read, Confessions.
Oh, right.
And for you to read it, I think is more of an impact when they hear it from the author of the book reading it. It really
I agree with you. And I have full plans to do that, but I just want the books to be only available as a book for now, and then later down the road, it'll give them new life. Then I'll do these, what you're talking about, audio
I'm
books.
I'm going to throw it out here, Darrell, because look, we have a lot of people with disabilities who can't read, but it would be great to hear you reading the book.
I agree with you totally, Bob.
And I love doing it. Look, people like me who go to the gym or wherever and sit in the car, to hear you read it.
I think you're right. I mean,
big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could see that.
So don't delay it too much, brother.
No, I know. I mean, Amazon offers all that stuff. Amazon's good with that. So I'm looking at it right now. Actually,
all right.
It's a plan. It is a plan. It's in the works. Don't
worry.
I
got to say, Halford's book, oh my God, kicked my ass across the room.
Really? I didn't read it, but Russ did.
Whoa.
And Russ told me about it, and I don't even know if we can talk about some of the shit on the air. I don't know, man.
You know what the great thing is the honesty. I mean, look, I seen Priest when they opened up for Kiss in 79, 78. And Rob was going, and I'm just going, wow,
when he came out and all that, yeah.
Yeah, but he, and I give kudos to the band and everything. And it was just, that's what I'm saying. For you to read it really gives, it creates a relationship with your audience.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. I think it's cool. I do. I do think it's cool, and I will do it. I will make that available.
It's interesting too, Darrell, because so I've got your book and I was gifted it as a get well present. That's the thing that's so crazy about how Timekeeper turned into a near death experience, like Final Destination kind of thing. Because I was gifted the book by Greg Peters, who a lot of people in the BLE world know as a member of BLE and helping out at the Brad shows. But Greg came and visited me in the hospital after I got run over by a car.
No way.
Swear to God.
I think I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave you.
Might have.
I think somebody told me about that. They gave you this book.
That might have been Greg.
Yeah.
He visited me in the hospital with a copy of your book to give to me as a get well gift to read while I was bedridden.
Did it make you feel better?
It was fantastic.
Because how about?
Well, it would have been better if he had it on audio, but
No, shush you.
Not audio. No.
Go to the corner. No, it was awesome, but it really was trippy because I knew you had put out the Thunderfoot book, but I obviously hadn't read the new book. I didn't realize it was like a Final Destination thing. I thought it was going to be kind of
that's the cool thing.
of
Right.
like your music career kind of a thing. And I'm
Right.
reading these things going like, these are dodging bullets. Like these
Yeah.
are crazy stories that
That's
I
what's
read.
cool about. That's my first book, and it wasn't about rock and roll at all. And that's why some people got confused. I said you have to read the liner notes. So you just don't buy a book without reading the liner
Yeah.
notes. They tell you what the book is about. The liner
Yeah.
notes, right?
Yeah, but you know what it is. You got to really dig deep, and I love when you get into like chapter 6 of any book. That's where the meat is.
yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you got to read the book. It probably made you feel probably a little better just with
Absolutely.
all the
No,
crap that happened to me. Could you relate to it at all though? Because a lot of people that read it said they've had similar falling out of trees as kids and things that almost killed them, but they never
yeah.
thought much of it
No,
until
I
you read
can't
it.
because there was a lot of things that was happening around that time that make me kind of like wonder about things. So like the funny thing is, people that know me know that I'm a crazy person for Ouija boards. I've been into them all my life. I study them. I'm a historian. Like I take them very seriously and I find them really interesting. I had just gotten a Ouija board. I had just gotten a Ouija planchette tattoo 3 days before. And then I was simply crossing the street through the crosswalk with the right of way. And then eventually the light above me turned green. And the person just accelerated and just completely blew me to pieces in the crosswalk. My body went through her windshield. Like it was totally insane. And so I'm reading these things of just these crazy things. Because for me, like that's not something that should have happened. And I'm not saying that like, no, I should never be hit by a car. I do not deserve that. No, this is just the idea of like safely walking in an area that's designed to be safe for you and to not be safe. That's what I could relate to, where it's like, yeah, people like falling out of trees and hitting their heads or getting in these different kind of car situations of their own. I was like, oh no, I can relate to this book.
But the guardian of a timekeeper thing, there's an element of a guardian angel in the book. That's how I felt. I felt like, wow, like I'm being saved by something again. You know, that's sort of how if you read all 10 chapters of it, you're going, wow, the guy's lucky to be alive. At the end of it all, I'm lucky to be alive. I really am. I really feel that way after all the crap that I've gone through. And what you only really notice it when it's written down on paper in a book. Then I mean, we all have stories, all of us, that you could write the same book, you know, and your accident would be in it. You getting hit by that. But I just happened to stumble into that just writing the memoirs about my dad. That's how it all happened. And then the Thunderfoot book is a long time coming, and that is my career from day one, and it's going to be in 3 volumes. This is Volume 1 is out right now. There's 2 more to come because the story isn't over.
No, absolutely.
The next volume, which will be out about next year, that's going to be the first volume ends in 1989. The next volume will go up to the 90s into 2000s, and then the third volume will be the 2000s to right now. Doing this interview, writing about it, saying I was on this interview with these wankers.
Hey, we're cool with that. We can handle that. We can take our medicine.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all like I said. It's the story's not over yet. So
absolutely not, 100%. But Angel, let's bring you back in, my good man. You've been incredibly patient. Anything currently from the Metal Summoners, or for yourself?
Yes, one of the fans has been patient waiting for me to answer her question. She wants to know where can fans go to hear your music.
Well, there's been a big release of our whole catalog to download and streaming platforms. Finally, everything but Stand Tall, the elusive Stand Tall record, is not quite available yet, and there's some red tape with that. We will eventually get it, but all the other albums are at Spotify as one. TuneCore, I think, is another. iTunes, every platform in the world right now has our whole catalog but one record. So there you go. And the whole catalog's out now to download, and it wasn't out until recently.
Yeah. What's your favorite memories of playing at the Rock Pile?
Um, probably we had some New Year's Eve shows there that were quite magical. Uh, over the last 8 years, we played there every year pretty much for 8 years, and the New Year's Eve shows were great. And there's a singer, her name's Priya Panda. She has a band called Diamonds.
Yeah, I
Have you
love
heard of
her.
this band?
I think I'm a big fan of that band.
Yeah, they're not together right now. Priya's kind of on her own solo thing,
Yeah.
and Daniel DeKay's in Exciter now, and that was his band really with her, and so they, but Priya got up and sang "Dirty Weapons" at the Rock Pile. She got up on stage and sang "Dirty Weapons." She's got a high voice, right?
Yeah.
Like Russ, and she pretty much nailed it, like right like the album, almost like identical to the record. So it was fun to watch how excited she was from the drum kit, watching her sing it. She would she'd turn around and look at me like a little kid. She looked like a little kid. Dirty Weapons, singing super high. But that happened at the Rock Pile. She got up and sang that song, the last song of the night with Russ, and that was kind of cool. A bunch of great stuff has happened at that club with us, and it's always sold out. That's the cool thing. It's just slammed. It's cool. It's always a good time. I hope I answered your question. That's probably one of the best
Yep.
experiences there.
Lisa wants to know what's on your bucket list.
Bucket list. What do I want to do? Oh, man, I want to travel a little bit more outside of touring. I want to visit some places that I've never been, like Cabo, San Lucas, places like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there. I want to go there. I want to set up part time of the year in Tampa, Florida. That's another bucket list thing I want to do during football season, because I go to the game. He's laughing. I go to the games anyway, one or two a year, but I actually want to live in Florida in the winter. I know it sounds weird, like a snowbird thing. It's not quite that, but I can't stand the winters much longer up here. They're just brutal.
You're in
Like
Toronto.
they seem to get
Hang in
colder.
Disney.
They get colder every year. It's starting to drive me nuts, the winters here. So I have a bucket list plan to live in Tampa part time.
My dad lives not far from there. He lives in Fort Myers.
Oh yeah, Fort Myers. That's where Brian lives from Helix part time.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, the singer in Helix. They're good friends of ours. We tour with them. Helix, the band Helix.
Yeah.
And Brian lives there. Fort
That's
Myers.
cool. Yeah, my dad and my stepmom. That was the thing. Like my dad, he's a lifer for Boston, and it was just like it was those winters, man. Just so
I know they started to get into my knuckles. You know that it's not good for drummers. It's not quite arthritis, but it's just I go on the dog walks in the winter, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, seriously.
And you know what's insane about winters versus summers? It's kind of nice. Like the fall is beautiful here, but it's 100 degrees in Toronto right now.
It's the same thing.
We're in a heat wave here right now. It's like my AC here is pumping all day. It's like
I'm telling
it's
you,
so
BLE,
hot out.
if it's that fucking hot at BLE, I'm wearing a thong.
Yeah, I probably won't be that hot by next. Really? It's a heat wave. It's going to be over. Like there's supposed to be a thunderstorm tonight, actually, and it's going to drop. I'm just going to drop. We just went through 3 days of it. 3 days of like 100 degrees.
It was so funny. I was crying on Facebook today about us sensitive little goths and about how we don't like hot weather, and I was like,
I saw that.
Oh, did you see that?
I saw your thing on that.
I was like, protect your goths, like move them into the shade.
Yeah, I saw that. Didn't you post that on TikTok too?
No, I did a post on TikTok, and I did a post on TikTok. I saw that you saw that one because I always do TikTok announcements about all the shows, and I saw that you have one, so I tagged you in it.
Yeah.
But
I just started following you too. I just started following
awesome.
You on TikTok.
Hell yeah. But I totally did that on TikTok too. I did the post on Facebook first with a picture of me out in the sun. And I was like, everybody, please protect your sensitive little goths. And I ended up doing that on TikTok as well, where right at the very end of the video, it's just like public service announcement. It's 100 degrees in Maryland right now. So please look out for your.
It's all over the North America right now, right? This heat wave. Like I have friends in Indiana that are frying to death. So it's all the way all the way up into Toronto. This heat wave thing. It's all
in London. Yeah, London.
Yeah.
As well.
The UK. They don't even have air conditioning there. They're not used to this
Nope.
stuff.
No, not at all.
Hey, Darrell, I want to address something that's kind of the little bit of the elephant in the room. So you're in Canada, and you've seen all the shit that's been happening here in the States. A lot of the gun violence and everything everywhere. I mean, and it's not a political thing, but I just want to ask somebody looking from the outside in, what is your interpretation? What do you feel on that? Does it scare you as being an artist coming into the States touring?
No, it doesn't actually, because this has been evolving for a long time. It seems like, these mass shootings and all this. This is not something that just happened overnight. This has been going on for a long time, and now Toronto.
But it's more frequent.
It is. I'm not really sure why that is happening. The world is, as we know, is insane right now. We can all agree. Like things are not right in the world, not America. Not just America, not here. The whole world is in a bit of a flux. The energy is not good. It's just not good. That's how I feel. And it's not just America, man. America has its gun thing, sure. But you know what? There's shootings in Toronto every day now. You just don't hear about it. There's shit going on here every day. Someone's getting shot or stabbed every day in Toronto. There's not, and we've had our mass shootings too. It's just, people are insane, man. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm about to tour America a lot, and it's on my mind. But I mean, you can't live your life in fear, right? I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, luck of the draw. I hope I'm not in a fucking Walmart when some guy loses his shit. You know what I mean? Because it can happen anywhere.
Well, I got to be honest. I mean, look. And I've said it to a couple of people around here. I love Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But man, it's turning into a shithole.
Right.
Do
you think the pandemic was part of it? You think that has it been worse?
I just think people don't respect each other, and it's just like, look. I remember growing up as a kid when you got mad at somebody, you just beat their ass. But now it's just like it's easier to pull a gun out.
Yeah, I know. I worry about that too, right? It's just so easy to do that. And the only difference I see with America that kind of like bums me out a bit is the dividedness of the political thing with, you know what I mean? Left and right. Like, man, like it's so divided. Like guys, people are fighting, like physically fighting over the presidents and who gets picked and who. Like, whoa, it's just so intense. It's very tense. You know what I mean? Every time there's an election, it's intense. I mean, we have the same thing here, but it's not intense like that, with left and right. It's not so divided.
You guys are all mellow.
We bitch about it, though. We bitch about it. We bitch about our prime minister. We bitch about the same shit you do, man. Believe me. But it's not physically violent. You know what I mean? And it seems like the States is just... It's just getting more and more intense with this stuff, man. People are pissed off.
Darrell, these guys know the 17th of August. I have to interview this gentleman, which
Ted.
Yes, Mr.
Awesome.
Cat Scratch himself.
That's awesome, man. I love Ted still. I don't care, man. I grew up in the 70s. Ted Nugent was my top 5.
I grew up as a skater, fucking listening to Free For All and Stranglehold and Hibernation and,
dude,
everything.
I saw the Nuge 10 times minimum in the 70s.
Huge Ted guy.
Yeah, me too, man.
And I the thing I'm going to embrace, Ted, and here's my thing. I'm going to tell him straight off. I'm going to be like, dude, you were the guy who made me go, wow, you don't need to do drugs to fucking be a fucking nutcase.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He's a
And
sober guy.
Ted
Yeah.
was that guy that every time I seen him, I'm going, oh my God. He was on 11 every time I seen him.
It was so good, man. His band in the 70s with Derek St. Holmes
Oh,
was
you
so good.
know, Derek St.
Stranglehold.
Holmes.
I played
what a
Stranglehold
fucking-
in my bands even as a cover tune. I love that tune. Yeah.
That's awesome. I will tell you though, Darrell, just as like a part of our previous conversation, like I wouldn't go so far as to say that I won't go so far as to say that the pandemic, caused, but it definitely didn't help.
No,
because those
no way.
those were stress levels and situations and just an overall weirdness that people had just never dealt with before. I mean, we're all old enough that we remember SARS and we remember the swine flu and all those type of really like crazy, like kind of mega viruses that came through. But this situation of having like not only just our personal countries, like our continent and then the whole world, like all being down, financial situations, stresses from people, and all that kind of stuff. That it was such new territory in such a stressful way. So that's the way I look at it. I can't go so far as to say with the state of the world right now, was the blackout a direct cause? I can't really say that, but it definitely didn't help it.
Well, I think it tested people's mental state to the max. Like
it definitely did.
I mean, it was mentally stressful, man. Some people that are alone and don't have people, they had to be isolated by themselves in their place. Like, I mean, it tested people to the end. Like,
going into it, I was always curious. I was like, we're going to get either a combination of possibly the next baby boom or a record amount of divorces for people who are just not used to being that around each other that much. I always thought was like super duper crazy. But Angel, I want to steer this back over onto you, buddy, because I know we kind of jumped in on you.
No, it's okay. Brian wants to know who would you pick to play you in a movie?
I love that. I never thought about it. Let's think about it for a minute.
I'm looking at it. I'm thinking Chip's enough.
Who would be? Yeah, because of the glasses right now. Let's get Ozzy to play me.
No, let's do
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes,
it's got to be Johnny Depp.
No, maybe Depp could.
We love Johnny.
Johnny
Depp. It's got to be Johnny as a version of Depp.
Who's the guy who did Iron Man?
I got to tell you, there is one guy that kind of has my side profile. My wife pointed out to me. His name's Crispin Glover.
Yeah,
do you know that actor?
Glover.
Yeah,
You're gonna lose that arm. You're gonna lose that arm in Hot Tub Time Machine. In Hot Tub Time Machine. If you put a wig on him and this, he may be able to play me. He's got my nose, like the nose thing. Well, my wife pointed out.
You leave your damn hands off her.
That guy could play me.
Yeah,
I think that dude could play me with the makeup department, putting all the shit on him, the beard and the long hair. I think he could do it.
Just hire Johnny Depp's Pirate from the Caribbean guys, but cast Crispin.
Yeah. Oh, well, I never thought of that.
Hot Tub Time Machine. That movie was amazing. It was just 80s rock from start to finish. Dude.
I loved it. I watch it. I still watch it.
Me too. And the second one was actually pretty good too. It really
wasn't bad. Hot Tub Time Machine. It's a light, funny movie. I mean, it's a light, stupid, funny movie.
Totally.
Look.
And it was neat to go back, like the 80s era. Poison was in their tour bus.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun. It was fun. Motley Lou. Like the best ending ever. The ending, it's actually Motley Crue. It's him.
He's playing Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home. It's really the band Motley Crue, but Lou's the singer.
It's the
Motley Lou
video from Home Sweet Home, but they
that was fun. That was fun.
The actor, the Lou character.
Yeah, they glued him in as Vince, in the real video. That's how the movie ended.
Kissing the posters of the naked chicks in the dress.
That's how it ended. I saw it at the theater, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
When it first came out on the big screen. And when I saw that ending, it just made the movie for me. It's just so funny. I was laughing my ass off.
Like a shotgun to the dick.
Yeah. It's so fun. There's lots of funny stuff. There's lots of funny stuff in that.
That's
So good.
ball torture, dude. That really hurt.
Anyway, I just wanted to know when how long we were going to go with this. I'm not used to going like
We're getting ready to wrap.
We're a very open forum. We average right about now, which is about an hour and a half. It's very common for us to go 2 hours, but we definitely the time. So
I just figure nobody can handle listening to me that long, man. Legitimately, I apologize to the people listening. I'm still on. That's how I feel.
Our fans have long since learned and enjoy the fact that this is a very unscripted, just kind of round the table conversation. We will kind of go everywhere.
Okay, all right.
But, yes, but on that note, Angel, let's kick it to you for the next series of questions. So on that note, guys, it is going to be last call, fans. Last call for alcohol. Any questions, comments that you guys want for Darrell? Let's get them in right now so we respect his time, since we are at about an hour and a half now. So
that's the longest interview I've ever done, by the way. I just want you guys to know. You get the record. I've never been on a show this long.
Why?
I never have. Well, usually it's 20 minutes. No, usually they script it at 20 minutes or an hour for these type of shows.
You know what it is, Darrell? That's because they throw snowball questions at you. It's like,
probably. I don't know. I do a lot of interviews. I do quite a few. But no, I'm not knocking. I just, I just thought I'd ask just because I just think the fans.
We're one of those ones. Look, we'll ask how many pubic hairs you have. You've
never asked that, Bobby.
And there's the Bobby comment right before it goes back to Angel.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I am looking forward to seeing you guys just on a closing. We're going to be closing it up here. I can't wait to do these dates, and Philly is going to be great. And, a big shout out to Brad Lee. He's
so you're coming in on you're doing Sunday or Saturday?
No, we're doing the Saturday.
They're Saturday. They'll come in the morning because they got a Friday gig.
The 30th, they're doing the 30th, right?
Yeah. Let me think. These 4 dates. It's Pittsburgh.
I'll be 58 on that day. Because
really
was the day before. Yeah,
nice. Okay, good.
I got a birthday present for you, Bobby.
Oh yes, you do. I hope it's about that big.
All right, man.
Sure.
All
right. Well, that's your birthday. That's great that day.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a little toast to you. How about that?
Absolutely.
Let's get together.
Sure.
Let's get together, man. I'm looking forward to coming back to America.
So,
looking
Angel,
forward
do you have any more questions from the fans, bud?
Yes, another fan question. Besides watching the Metal Summit, what do you like to do during your downtime?
Well, my downtime, I like to write. I like to write books, and I like to write songs. I spend a lot of time writing, but like I said, I'm a big sports fan. I watch as much hockey and football as I can, and attend live sports games, hockey and football. I have a 12-year-old daughter. She takes a lot of my time up, and she plays hockey and drums and piano, and she keeps me hopping. And I love movies. I love watching television, like movie night type thing. I like light, weird Adam Sandler nutty movies. My daughter and I and my wife, we watch them quite regularly. And I love pool time. I'm a big sun guy. Anytime I can get to a pool, being a frostbitten Canadian, I do it. Anytime I can get south anywhere, I'm there with a cocktail by the pool. It's one of my favorite downtime things to do, I will tell you right now. Swimming pools, movie stars. I love that.
Okay, I got one more fan question, and I have a question of my own. If you were in a time machine, where would you go and why?
Hot tub time machine, baby. Right back to the 80s. You set that up for me. Right back to the 80s. I do a couple of things differently now that I know what it was about. Not a whole lot, but a couple of things. No, I think, in all seriousness, I think I'd like to go back to the 50s, man. Like the kind of the mid 50s into the 60s. Like I was born in the early 60s. I'm 60 years old. But like,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
you
man.
don't have any gray. Look, we're like.
My wife is in the hair industry, dude.
Hey, look,
she's a hair colorist. Come on. Tick, tick, tick.
I don't have any gray hairs unless you look down under.
Hey, I look pretty good for my age. I take care of myself. I'm a drummer, man. We're like sports guys. We're physical.
I'm a skateboarder.
But I think
I
the
broke my
50s, the
hip.
Elvis Presley era would have been cool to be around. The start of rock and roll, Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis and shit. I've watched a couple documentaries on it. I think I'd like to go back to that time just to play drums with those guys for a bit.
Darrell, you just fucked me up. You're 60, dude?
Yes, I'm born on May 2nd. Yes, I am.
Oh, my God.
Why did I tell him that?
Wow.
Everybody tells Bobby everything.
Yeah, Russ and I just turned 60, 61.
Viagra or Cialis?
Oh, fuck.
Neither.
Damn.
I'm not there yet. I'm still doing okay on my own, bud.
That's awesome.
Hey,
But
look,
I will not.
I have no
I will
problem
use
with
that shit if I have
something
to.
being stiffy.
But I don't have to
Me
use
too.
it right now.
I have no shame in using it.
I'm still good right now.
Right on. Did you see the Elvis movie yet, Darrell?
No. Oh, you know what? I have a cable kind of box that I can get the newest things when they first come out, and that was on there, but it wasn't a good enough. It wasn't, the quality wasn't that good on it. I'm not sure whether it was one of those pirated versions of it where a guy's in the theater sitting down. So I didn't watch it.
You bought it from the black guy off the street.
Well, they're just files, right? They're files. I have a thing. Sometimes when you search for movies, they're files of movies, right?
I know what you're talking about. They'll just kind of line up on the side.
Yeah, right. You know, it's like it's not illegal. But the quality of it came out the same day it came out. So obviously some dude posted it or something. I don't know. But I didn't watch it because I want to watch a good quality of it. It wasn't a good quality version of Elvis, so I'm not going to watch that one unless it's the real thing. Because I
wasn't like the 3:00 call at the bar, going,
yeah,
okay, the last one here, whatever.
and right back up to you, Angel.
I got a question that popped up from Keith. Any favorite memories of playing Thunder Bay?
Thunder Bay. I'm so glad the guy brought that up. We're going back to Thunder Bay. It's on the tour. We're playing the Black Pirates pub. Come on.
Wow.
The pirate. I'm the pirate. We're playing the Black Pirates Club, or pub it's called. It's one of the only cool clubs in that city. I know that.
Where's that?
We're there in September. The good memories I have of Thunder Bay was with Skid Row. We toured with Skid Row and Pantera back in 92, I think it was, 1992.
Yep, I remember. Yeah,
and
that was
Sebastian had some issues with his voice along the way on the tour, and he flew back to Brooklyn, or where he was living in New York, and the tour got shut down for a couple of days. He went back home and rested, and we were stuck in Thunder Bay for 3 days on our tour buses. And we were all stuck there, and it was great. We got a unscheduled 3 days off. All the bands, we were there, nothing to do but just party on our buses and at the hotel. And Sebastian went home for 3 days. He had like a cold, or I don't know what happened to him. I don't even really know. I just know he left the tour briefly and everything was being rescheduled. The dates were being pushed ahead. And then he was back. But that's probably my favorite memory of Thunder Bay, because it was just weird to be stuck there with this entourage of all these buses and bands. And we're like, what's going on? Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So actually, Angel, let me jump in real quick, and I'm going to have your question to Darrell close out the show. Simply because he brought up that particular tour, I actually feel it's a topic that we should discuss real quick. Pantera.
Yeah.
You got it. You're a drummer, and you toured with the band.
Yes, and was actually friends with Dimebag.
Yeah. What are your thoughts of it? My thing is simple enough. I think Zach is fantastic, and I love me some Charlie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if this was going to be a thing, of course, losing Vinny was very unexpected as well. I was the guy that was kind of like, hey, if they're going to do a reunion type thing, Zach, I think should be the guy. He was so close to Dime and blah, blah, blah. Now that it's half the band, and it seems kind of weird for me, especially because Phil and Rex did Down together for a while. So that's not uncharted territory for them to play together. But having half this band as Pantera, what are your thoughts on it?
I feel odd about it. And I feel like, well, I look at my own band, like, so let's say Russ couldn't be the singer in the Killer Dwarfs. There's no Killer Dwarfs. That the band would never tour again if something happened to Russ.
Yeah,
That's
but we have the singer.
Just how it is.
The bass player.
I get that. So singers are a little harder to replace. Obviously, it's the voice of the band.
But
I think
they're only going to do it as a tribute. They're not doing it as like, oh, we're going out and doing.
And I think that's okay. I think Dime and Vinny would be rolling in their graves personally, though. I just feel odd about, like, they would not be happy. The way it ended.
Sure.
But
not to be
who am I to say? Who am I to say? I don't think they'd be happy about this, man. But if they do this with taste and they do a tribute and they do have killer screens with Dime and Vinny on them during the show and make it a real tribute to those two cats, then awesome. And Zach is totally the guy.
Hey,
and Charlie's wicked. Charlie's wicked.
Bitch till it comes to your city, and then we all know we're all going to get a fucking ticket.
Not a problem to me who's in the band. I think that's amazing. I think
you know
it's
what
perfect.
It is? I'm not going to hear the music again, but to hear Anselmo do this with,
they were such a great band, man. They were amazing. When we toured with them, they were young and new, and I just knew these guys are unreal. Like, it was a new face of rock, like.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to interject here with Darrell. How many times have we done these festivals with so many fucking band,
mashups?
Some of them don't even have members of the band in the band. And
no,
like,
I know.
Oh, we're out here doing, I'm going.
They're like tribute bands to the band.
And I'm just going, what the fuck? Everybody's bitching about this. I'm going, shut the fuck up.
They shouldn't be bitching about it. They shouldn't be bitching about it. I think it's just I'm too close to it, man. That's all.
Yeah.
I knew Dime.
You know what the thing is?
I knew him. I drank with him. I did the Black Tooth Grin shit. I did all that with him.
But there are a lot of people who never got to see Pantera.
Yeah, well, hopefully then they do a good version of it, and they get to see a little piece of the energy of what it was. It'll never be like them, though. No. There's no way, man.
Let's be honest. It's the same thing with, Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer. Yeah. Look, it'll never. Ace can't play like Tommy plays much better than
Yeah. I'm not against it, bro. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm not against it at all.
Hey, go for it. It's going to be a tribute thing. They're not going to be out there, but the money's to be made.
And who am I to say anyway? It's not my choice or my decision or what. I'm not in the mix even on what they're doing. Good for them. Right. I mean, I'm just saying though, like, just because I was a little close to them and we did tour with them, who knows?
I know you got the personal level, but you know there's some fucking.
If it's a tribute and not, hey, this is the new Pantera, I'm all good with it.
Oh yeah,
I'm all good with it as long as it's the tribute with the screens and you see Dime on the screens and Vinny, and they make it cool like that, almost like holograms of them. I don't know, but it's Zach. I think they're going to do it tastefully. I really do. They got no choice. They have to do it tastefully. It's got to be done right.
Dick, and Charlie isn't either. I mean,
it's got to be done right. If anything, they're feeling really blessed to get to do it. I would.
I did see something recently that Rhea, Dime's girlfriend, has signed off on it.
Oh, good. So she would be a big catalyst in giving a blessing or not. So good. So obviously, it's going to be done right. If she signed off on it, then they're going to do the nice tribute. They're going to play great. And you're right, Bobby, younger fans never got to see them are going to probably experience the power of what Pantera was. If Phil is in good vocal shape,
I hope so, because I mean, to hear songs like "Walk," and
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
Cemetery Gate again.
Yeah.
When's the
Yeah.
last time
Well, it'll be good for sure. Let's hope. Let's hope they nail it and do it good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now here's my thing to ask: who would be the supporting act?
For Pantera?
Yeah.
Wow.
Skid Row.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Twist it, turn it around. Pantera opened for Skid Row when I toured. with
Yeah,
them.
but would you see it like
No, I'm
Testament?
kidding.
Would you see,
I don't know. Maybe a new band. Maybe get like some new blood.
Don't throw no fucking ghetto Van Fleet out there, or
No.
Fleet
No.
Anima or whatever they are.
I'm not sure. Who would they get to open? Megadeth, maybe.
I would
like get someone great. Get like a double bill kind of thing. Make it a big thing. Get like Megadeth on the bill or something. I don't know.
I think something that would be. I think that would be kind of cool. But I'll be honest. I would actually. I'd really like to see them choose a band like the Black Veil Brides.
Oh yeah,
like a band that really has that young fan base, of which I'm a part of. I've been a fan of the Black Veil Brides since.
Well, that's why I said maybe a new artist. I was serious.
Yeah,
why
but
not?
they have a lot of pop of their own. They have a huge following.
Now, what if they did something
major tours,
like a Big Four? Like if they did something like in that period of when Pantera was out, and they brought Megadeth, they brought. Oh God! You fucking brought Exodus out.
Right.
That period right there.
I'd be more into something like, if they didn't want to go the route of what I was suggesting, I kind of like the idea of that. So there's always, of course, the Big Four, but there was always that constant conversation of who are the very next Big Four, and Pantera was always in that conversation when it came to the second tier of Big Four for thrash, along with like Death Angel, Testament, and Overkill, and Exodus were like the four other bands that I was constantly seeing rotated in and out of, like, who's the next Big Four behind Metallica and
now.
I was gonna say, sorry, Charlie's already there. Get Anthrax on them.
Well,
he's already there.
Here's the other thing too, Darrell. Dimebag being a huge Kiss fan, how great would it be to bring Ace out and doing that?
Yeah, that's true. He was a huge Kiss
fan,
which
would be badass to me.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously they are going to be able to do a headlining tour. It'll be a big deal. And so it'll be interesting that they need to choose the right band. And I'm not going to
shit the bed. Yeah. The four of us will get a ticket somewhere down the road, because
I'll go see it. I'll go see it for sure.
Oh,
I'll be interested to see it. I love Zakk Wylde. He's fucking great.
Yeah,
on his own. Yeah, on his own, he's great anyway. So I mean, I'd be definitely interested to see it. But I hope it's successful. I hope it's successful.
Black Label, and you brought Anthrax out.
Yes, I did.
With Ace. Now,
could you imagine that?
Right
That'd be great.
Oh, that could be a badass build.
That'd be awesome. Then you get almost a festival. It's almost like a festival with all those bands.
That, to me, would kick ass.
It'll be interesting to see what they do. It will.
That would definitely be cool, very sure. But Angel, let's kick it back up to you, buddy. Why don't you bring us home?
Yes, I'm going to bring a last question. It's actually going to make it a fan question, because this gentleman is a drummer, and he has a drummer's question.
I see it here.
This question's from Mark.
Yeah, Mark Weir, I think it is. Yeah, I started playing drums, and my hands got sweaty, and my drumsticks fly out of my hands. What can I do to help this? That's a great question, man. That's a very common thing in the drum world to all drummers. That can happen. That happens to all of us. It's happened to me. I don't have a problem with it. I have a towel that I constantly have right to my left, and I make sure my hands are dry song by song. If he's having a double issue with, like, if he's extra sweaty or something, I don't know, or maybe his sweat glands are more active than most people. If that's the case, the best thing for you to do is take fabric tape and tape your grips and make grips. You can buy tape in different colors, red, white. It's made of fabric. It's tape. It's like hockey tape almost. It's made of fabric. just do one wrap around the grip part of your drumstick and try that. And you'll never drop a stick with that. But that's extreme. I like to keep the balance of the sticks without tape changes the feel of the stick, and the weight changes the weight of it, right? I wouldn't do that. But if you were having an issue with the towel not working and you're still having a problem with the sticks slipping out of your hands song by song, then go that route. A lot of guys do that, or they wear gloves. Literally, a lot of guys wear golf gloves. A lot of guys wear golf gloves.
Does the chalk that like gymnasts use, would that work at all for drummers?
It might. I've never tried it or never, but it makes sense. But you're talking wood, right? It's wood on skin on wood. And there's a little bit of varnish on most sticks, or like, but anyway, skin on wood.
Come on, Bobby.
You bastards! You bastards!
We're trying to help. We're trying to help a musician
here.
Yeah,
That's my suggestion.
Musician here.
Either get to your towel every song onto the left, dry your hands, or if that's not working for you, man, try the fabric tape on your grips. Make grips.
Yes, wipe your wood down.
Yeah, wipe your wood. Or use the fabric tape. Try the chalk even. I don't know. Might be a good idea. I've never tried that. But I don't have a problem with that. But I've dropped a few sticks from having very sweaty hands before. It's a hazard of being a drummer. And on a hot night, 100 degrees, you're soaked. The sweat runs down your arm is what happens. When you get soaked drumming, like it's just dripping down your arm into your hand the whole time. So it's like, depends how hot you get or how hot the night is or wherever you're playing. But good question. Good drummer question right there.
100% for sure.
I hope I helped you.
Did you have a final question from yourself, bud?
No, my question was, besides rock, is there any other style of music that you play?
I actually, over the pandemic, I started venturing. I had so much time on my hands when I built that COVID condo kit thing, and I was playing more than I'd played in my life almost during that time. I started listening to, there's so many drumming tutorials available for drummers now. Really cool, like Drumeo and all these things. You can pretty much see anything online now. And the best drummers in the world are online. And I started really venturing into funk and fusion drumming and a little bit of jazz. And I mean, I started just exploring stuff that I don't usually play. And I was really having some fun times playing some Motown songs and funky feels. And man, it was enjoyable. I was really enjoying it. In fact, some of that stuff's on my COVID condo kit series. I played We Are Family by Sly and stuff. I just tried some different things. And I really enjoy the funkier side of drumming and some of the shuffles and jazz stuff. Awesome. I started getting into that a little bit. Something I'll never use with the Killer Dwarfs, but it's still you grow as a drummer, right? Absolutely. Going in those areas that you're not used to. It's not your safe place. Going off into fusion and playing some of these guys. It's crazy stuff they play. Amazing. Some of the death metal stuff, even like just off the chart speed, double bass and stuff. It's pretty cool. So there's your answer.
Thank you. Absolutely, brother. Well, Darrell, it's been a pleasure, man. And we really hope that you had a good time just talking about music and fun stuff and hockey and travel. And
hold the record. You hold the record, you guys. The longest interview. It's got to be a Guinness World Book of Records for me. It's the longest interview I've ever done.
That's awesome. But we
goes to you.
And we trust that you had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely I did. Absolutely I did. My wife, I'll tell you the true story, though, when I get off air. My wife is in film. She does hair in the film industry.
Really?
And, and she's working on the Working Moms show right now. Oh. It's filmed up here in Canada. They're on season 8 or whatever. And she just got home.
Well, Queer as Folk was shot up there. But
there's a lot shot up here. She just got home about a half hour ago, and I hardly ever see her because she works like 16 hours a day. So when I get off there, I'm going to have a cocktail with her and go over the whole day, and we'll chat and all that. That's what I'm doing. I want to hang with my wife because I only get to see her about
now. Will your wife be coming down here with you?
No, because like I said, she's on this shoot for 3 months. So she works 5 days a week. She won't be on this one. But once that ends, she gets time off. She'll be off. Then she'll come out to some other shows. with us.
Awesome.
She always comes out. But right now she's on a block, 3 months. She's going to work straight.
Hey, Darrell, real quick before you go. So the rumor going around too, Alex Lifeson's getting ready to do something.
No, he's already in. No, the band's out. The band's done.
Really?
Yeah, no, they already recorded the record and everything.
No, but are they getting ready to go out on the road?
Oh, I think they're going to play live. Yeah.
Wow.
Andy Curran is in that band.
Yeah.
Coney Hatch. Yeah, they're called something of none or Envy of None. That's the name of the band, right? It's called Envy of None. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the band.
But I thought you would hear it more than we would.
No, I'm just hearing that. I'm seeing the odd interview and from Andy Curran. He was letting the press know what was going on. And there's a female singer in the band, and Alex and Andy, and I think a keyboard player. And I think it's a totally different direction than Rush. I haven't heard any of it. I haven't heard any of the music yet. I don't know.
And what have you heard about Ged?
Geddy's his bass tech is one of our best friends, and Scully, and he still works for Ged, but Scully's on tour with Jeff Beck right now.
Oh.
But he still works with Ged all the time, and Geddy collects basses. He's a really bass fanatic. He's and he sends Scully over to Europe and buys a seat for a bass, and Scully goes and buys some rare bass in Germany. Goes over and buys it for Ged and flies it back in a seat, pays for the ticket for the bass. And Geddy put out his book. I know he did that. But as far as I know nothing about what Geddy's plans would be for musical endeavors. I don't know. Scully doesn't talk about any of that, as he wouldn't. That's none of his business or ours.
The other Canadian up there, we have Rick Emmett, who comes down this area a lot and plays. Is there a rumor of a Triumph get together?
Well, Triumph, the documentary came out, right?
Yeah.
And all that. And that was the closest thing that I would think to them playing out anywhere, because they actually played a couple of songs in the documentary. Remember? And I know people that went to the screening and were there. But I don't think they can tour. I don't think they're physically up for touring. They're quite up there in age, and I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I have heard no rumors at all of
Gilmore or Rick.
I've just heard no rumors of them touring at all. Like no rumors of they did the documentary. That was their big thing. That was their finale goodbye kind of thing, where they played a couple. See now my corgi's getting upset now that I'm still on here.
We love corgi.
I got a corgi. He's a great dog. He's awesome. But anyway, no rumors about Triumph. No, nothing.
Kim Mitchell, what can you say about Kim?
What's that?
Kim Mitchell.
I'm going to see Kim on that festival in August. He's still touring.
Might as well go for a soda.
He's out playing.
He's doing a remake of.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, Darrell, thanks again, brother. We're gonna let you enjoy a little bit of time with your wife, and again, thank you so much, brother. But we will see you in a week.
Yeah. Can't wait, man. It's going to be great.
Oh my God!
We'll hoist a few pops, and
absolutely.
You guys be safe, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. So, Metal Summoners, make sure that you guys get out and support the Killer Dwarfs on this tour. 4-year anniversary for
and thanks a lot to the fans. Thanks a lot for the purchases tonight on dunkspirateshop.com, the books and all. Thank you very much. Absolutely. And we'll see you out there.
Absolutely. So, guys, make sure that you get out there and support. Like I said, 40-year anniversary for Killer Dwarfs, and there are not a lot of bands that are in that kind of company. So make sure that you guys are getting out and support. We really appreciate you guys tuning in every week. Guest announcement on Friday. It's going to be another good one, as it will be our final pre-Masquerade Metal Summit before the Core 4 is back together in Philadelphia for Masquerade and celebrating Bobby's birthday. So we will see you guys.
Bobby, happy birthday next week. We'll see you then.
We're going to have a blast.
Yeah, absolutely,
man. Great time. Absolutely. Metal Summoners, we love you guys. Take care. Look out for each other. Thank you very much on behalf of Darrell, on behalf of Killer Dwarfs.
Thanks to everybody. I'm signing off. I'm hitting the red button that says leave
Hold on
studio.
1 second. Wait, hold on 1 second.
We'll see you guys next time. You've been watching the Metal Summit.
What's that?